Hey there, this is Dave from FormBet, and I'm just going to look at a couple of systems on the query tool that I've been considering. Now, I've actually already built this system today because I did quite a lot of work and I just wanted to save a bit of time. So the other day I was looking at flat jump jockeys, and especially with £3, £5 claimers and handicaps, and it threw up a couple of winners. And I think I want to look at a very similar, actually, hold on, 2 seconds. Yeah, sorry. This was the handicaps jumps one, and it threw up basically Faith Loving 9-2, Listen to Lady 5-1. There was a 20-1 winner at Hexham on the 16th of March 2023. It's a very kind of selective system. Now, what I did was use the same kind of approach as that for flat claimers. As you can see, I've got way too many systems, and I'm going to be filtering these all down over time. Like I said, I've been away from horse racing for probably about 4 years, I guess. So January I signed back up to GG's and basically looking at systems. I've built a whole lot of Cheltenham systems. Obviously mainly built jumps, chase hurdle systems, but I've also got Tapta and Polytrack systems in there. So my goal with this is to kind of filter these all down until we've got a nice selective group of systems, because what you'll find is that there'll be long losing streaks and people generally can't cope with that. Obviously there was like a 170 BSP winner the other day, which means you can go quite a long time with losing streaks before you start to lose. So obviously that was a bit of a freak result, but there have been other good runs from 50-1 shots just getting beaten by a short head or a nose. There's also it's basically a case of a scattergun approach, and then we narrow it down until we find a bunch of systems that are, fairly stable going forward. So yeah, this was the flat handicap jump jockeys, and these were the filters that I came up with for the jump jockeys. And we can see, if we go to the summary, they've got a 15% strike rate, which is relatively low. I suppose we could take out a couple of these guys because that's pretty low ROI. Relatively small amount of winners, but it gives an indication of maybe apprentices that are worth following. If we took this guy out, the strike rate would improve. Darrow O'Keefe, so 15% strike rate, 51% ROI. 137 and 1.9. If we take him out, we can see the strike rate jumps a little bit, ROI improves, and so do the other figures. So yeah, like I said, I did this today for flat, which comes under F. I'll probably try and sort this out a little bit better. So this was flat handicap claimers with I think it might actually be between 2 and £5 claimers. I'll just double check that. No, it's 3 to 5. And so I looked at minimum odds of 4-1 because I want to be backing horses generally at a decent price. I looked at class 1 to 4 in handicaps on flat turf, and these were the trainers that came up. And if we look at the summary, again, it's a low strike rate, 14.71, but 77% ROI, 1.55 A, 1.88 impact value, 525 points profit. And if we look at the qualifiers, we'll see long losing runs, 18-1 shot, another losing run, 12-1 shot, 7-1 shot, 15-2, 6-1, 11-2. There's a few on the trot there. There's a 28-1 winner, there's an 18-1 winner, 11-2, and occasionally you'll get 40-1, there we go, at the Curragh. So occasionally you'll get a really big price winner, which will, there's a 20-1 shot, 18-1 shot, 20-1 shot, Jamie Powell for Johnny Murtagh. I believe he was like the champion apprentice last year in Ireland. Not sure. 18-1. So there will be long losing runs, and generally speaking, punters can't handle that psychologically because they want winners. They want the buzz of a winner. But actually, if you follow these kind of systems, you need to be really patient. A lot of them will place at big odds, so you could probably go each way and it would lessen the pain a little bit. But if you were to go win only, your ROI would probably improve. And it all comes down to temperament. There's another 40-1 winner there in Ireland. That was a little system that I built just on flat turf handicaps in class 1 to 4. Now I looked at a few today. I don't know if that's a kind of, probably need to rename that. Yeah, so I need to rename this system here because it's not actually flat jump jocks. It's flat jocks, £3, £5 claim. So I'll add that angle and I'll remove that misnamed one. So the filters for this are basically pretty similar. Looking at these jockeys, flat turf 1 to 4, minimum odds 4 to 1 from £3 to £5, and these are guys that will give you probably an additional angle in there on the flat. So there was a few other systems. So I looked at handicap flat trainers when they employ a £2 to £7 claimer. So obviously if you've got a system that's looking at claiming jockeys, if they're really good, at some point they won't be claiming. So the system really has a pretty short shelf life, I guess. If they're good jockeys who are getting regular winners, they'll lose their claim and they'll no longer show up on a system. But for the short term, it's pretty good. But longer term, this is from an idea that was formed from a book called Words from the Wise by Feynman, I believe, who used to write for Racing Ahead, which was quite a while ago now. Those who are a bit older might remember that. And it was basically looking at flat trainers who employed apprentices in handicaps to great effect. And so I ran a few filters, and this is quite a very long list of trainers who have claimers in handicaps between 2 to 7 on flat turf handicaps the last 5 years. And if we look at the summary for this, we will see that that's a 17% strike rate, 1,301 profit, and a 75% ROI. Now, there's guys in here that have, this is looking at the weight ranges of these, because I believe Feynman did say that you really want to be looking at either apprentices that are at the top of the handicap. So you work your way down the card from the highest weight and look at a claimer, and that's a selection. And also if you look at the lowest weight, so we see there's a few guys here like at really low weights who, you know, this guy here, this weight band of 7.7, I'm not actually sure. That's got quite a decent profit. There's a decent profit there of 7.9. There's a decent profit there of 7 stone 11. Now some of these are small sample sizes, obviously, but there's a few here that are decent profit. And generally speaking, you'll see that the higher weighted ones, there's not a great deal of profit there. So I think Feynman suggested that, you know, those that are kind of lower down the weights, obviously they're receiving lumps of weight anyway, but the addition of a claimer taking off some poundage gives an added advantage. So that's something else to consider when you're looking at this kind of system. Now, if we look at the trainers in question and generate a report, we will see that it's quite a big list. Now, I filter out all the trainers that have only had one winner, because I want to see, that it's not a fluke, that they can at least get a couple of winners with apprentices on board in handicaps. But as you can see, that's a fairly decent profit over the last 5 years. And what this enables us to do is, if we insist upon an increased AE, so an actual expected ratio of say 1.25, and impact value of 1.5, that can, if we update that now, not sure if you'll be able to see that change, that should change from, once we generate the report again, yeah, it doesn't change too much actually, because most of these guys have high impact values and A's anyway. But what you can also do is look at the wins and sort it by wins and see those trainers that are really adept at, using claimers and handicaps. So somebody like Simon Crisford, Sheena West. You can also look at strike rates, and bear in mind, ignore the kind of guys with small amounts of winners. But Sheena West is obviously one to look at when she's employing an apprentice between £2 and £7 in a handicap. Same as Chris Dwyer. Is it Chris Dwyer? Yeah. Chris Wall, Simon Crisford. So those would be the guys I'd be kind of looking at. Now you can also break it down and see how do they do in a particular class. So if we just select class and generate a report, we'll see in the summary that really the win percentages actually are higher in lower class events, which is a surprise to me, and the ROI is bigger. You can also look at things like distance. I'm not sure there's any kind of reason why you would look at distance, but you'll probably find the strike rate is, there's only a few in 5.5, 6.5. It's kind of a unique distance, but I would have expected that to have been a little bit more volatile because it's 5 furlong sprint, but it's not the case. You can look at the amount of runners. So obviously you'll see the strike rate will drop depending on how many runners are on the race. That's just kind of pretty obvious, really. So you could, you wouldn't really be filtering on that. You could look at particular jockey claims to see if, I've looked at that already. You could look at age of horses. Is there anything to do with age? Not really. Geldings, coats, and females, not. Headgear could be an interesting one. Well, that's really interesting. Blinkers and tongue tie. A small sample, but so what you're really doing is just looking down to see if there's any obvious things that you could use to shorten this rather long list. And I don't think there is. So really that system on its own with these trainers, when they get a £2 to £7 claimer on board in flat handicaps, are worth noting, and you will see the list of qualifiers come up on the race card when the flat season eventually starts. You could probably, actually, it's maybe worth looking at things like the country. So Ireland, as I would have suspected, as a lower strike rate, lower ROI, lower AE, lower IV. I've never been a fan of betting in Ireland unless it's Irish Grand National Trends selections, because I just think there's a lot of funny stuff going on there. But that's still not a bad return, and if you can accept a lower strike rate, then fair play to you. But if you want maybe a higher strike rate and more consistency and more profitability, then you could just focus on UK races, and that would obviously enable you to filter out a lot of the kind of Irish trainers, maybe, unless they're visiting the UK. So yeah, that's an example, quick 15-minute tutorial. Thanks for everyone for signing up in the positive messages. It's great to be back, and it's been a slow start. We've had a couple of big winners, near misses, but I'm in this for the long game, and I'm really looking forward to Cheltenham, and got a few systems there, but mainly I'm focusing on the flat because that has always been my bread and butter. Any comments on this, any questions, just give us a shout either in the chat or drop me a DM, drop me a message via the Substack, and invite your friends, and we'll hopefully make some profits this Cheltenham Festival and in the forthcoming flat season, which I think is starting the week after Cheltenham on the 23rd at Doncaster. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again for watching, and take care.